Like many other people, I've had my fair share of embarrassing moments and near-death experiences. Honestly, looking back at it, some of the ways I was supposed to go out were just straight up humiliating. So much so that it feels like it would be a waste not to share any of them. So here we are. I guess I'll just start off with the one I remember the most vividly, the time I died and came back to life. Yeah, I'm not even joking. So I was around 8 at the time, and basically what happened was I was with my mom and sister at the pool. I never really considered myself a good swimmer, and it really showed this time around. I don't exactly remember what I was doing, but for some reason I started jumping in the water, and somehow I made my way to the 12 feet part of the pool. Obviously, since I couldn't swim, I started to panic, but no matter what I tried, I just wouldn't float back up. This is when I remembered seeing a literal white light in front of me. Like at that moment, I thought I was about to see the pearly white gates. That's how close I actually was to dying. I quickly realized no lifeguard was coming to save me, so I actually began to accept my fate. But out of nowhere, my body just locked in and learned how to swim, and somehow I made it all the way back to where I originally was. When I got out and told my mom, she said she didn't even notice me drowning in the first place. So yeah, that was definitely some divine intervention, because I'm still not sure how I made it out of there alive. Now, switching gears to something a little bit more cringe, this story took place in middle school. So in my gym class, there was this one popular girl. I didn't even really like her, but she wasn't a complete a-hole like the others, so I tried to find ways to talk to her every now and then. I remember one day she lost her headphones during class, and while the others were actually being helpful and trying to help her search for it, I was sitting there in the corner scheming. In retrospect, this might be one of the dumbest plans I've ever thought of, but at the time I thought I was the next Einstein or something. Basically, I had her added on Snapchat, so when I got home, I decided to text her. I happened to own the same pair of headphones as her, so I took a picture of them and said I found them on the way back home. Obviously, she was excited because those things costed a fortune, and my dumb self was just sitting there thinking, okay, what now? Like, I don't even know what my plan was after that. Like, was I trying to feel appreciated? I don't know. I ended up breaking the news to her a little bit after that, and surprisingly, she wasn't that mad at me. Although, I don't think she ever talked to me after that, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. Now, this next one is kind of an embarrassing situation and also a near-death experience combined into one. So, when I was a kid, I used to go shopping every Saturday with my mom, and one day, I remember we were in the Dennys parking lot, and I was just in the back of my mom's van watching Death Battle or whatever kids used to do back then. Then suddenly, the car just took off at light speed off of a cliff. I'm not even joking, there was a cliff right next to the parking lot. I also didn't have my seatbelt on, so I was just flopping around in the back. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, this hill was leading to a 2-lane road, so we were bound to get hit by a car. Somewhere along the way though, the car stopped in its tracks and just flipped on its side. I remember a lot of people came to help us out, and I even ended up having to break the back window. I was bleeding down my leg, but I didn't really care because I was mostly just concerned about my mom. An ambulance arrived later and asked if I wanted to go to the hospital, but I just said that they should take my mom instead. She ended up being fine and came home later that day, but it's still crazy to think about what could have happened. I imagine that was a crazy sight to see, a whole van flying off the side of a hill. I'm pretty sure we actually put that Denny's out of business because we ended up hitting their sign on the way down. They tried to sue us, but I think they didn't have enough company funds, so they just closed the whole place down entirely. I think I also ended up swallowing some glass too, so yeah, that's another thing. So yeah, I know this isn't the type of video I usually make, but if you look on my channel, honestly, I made every type of video under the sun, so this is just another one of those experimental ones. If it ends up being successful, then I'll continue it because these are the types of videos I like to make, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, let me know if you guys enjoyed it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.